Welcome to heCast, the official podcast of He Changed It. As always, I'm your host, Mike Chisholm, and I am very excited. I'm always very excited when I do these things, let's face it. I get the easy part of the job when it comes to He Changed It. I get to talk to amazing people with amazing stories. I'm extremely excited about today because I get to talk to somebody who I would consider a legend, and the word legend gets thrown around to different people for different things. Well, this is a guy who, when I was a little kid, there wasn't any of my friends who didn't know who this person was. This person was somebody who all of our friends, me and my friends, looked up to, and somebody who brought a smile to our face. And well, it depends, I guess, who you're a hockey fan of. The gentleman I'm about to talk to has a plethora of life experience way outside. Yes, he was an elite professional athlete at the highest level. He was an NHL goaltender, in fact, but has also built himself careers in the corporate world, which didn't really speak to him. And so he actually, his true calling, that calling of being an artist, has come out. And I'm really excited to talk about the life and the experiences of Richard Brodeur, King Richard. King Richard.
Hello, Mike.
Welcome here, sir. Thank you very much for being part of heCast. I can't tell you how grateful we are that you're here.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. So, in Kelowna's been moved in a year ago, so
Yep.
I'm very happy to be here, and it's a great city. So great people.
That warms my heart. I'm born and raised here, so is my wife, and so when I hear you say that, I appreciate that very much. I want to talk a little bit about your career. I want to talk about the transition. I want to talk about your art more. Of course, I want to talk about your art because that's what fills your
Yeah.
time these days more than anything. And I want to talk about the journey that you made going from place to place in your life. And I want to talk about what that's done with as regards to mental health. And I think that success leaves clues, and experience has many clues to leave as well. And just talking to you, I appreciate the point of view you have, and I appreciate the vulnerability and the openness that you're willing to share with everybody. It wasn't always like that, was it?
No, it's not. No. Well, I appreciate what you're saying, but the when you grew up in the '70s, or and you play hockey as a professional, it was very macho type of time. That so when you start having problems because you get hit in the head too many times. I got 13 concussions where I played in 16 years. So
13
uh,
concussions in 16 years.
yeah, so it's very scrambled up there once in a while. But what happened is you don't talk about it, and then it's something that I don't even think the management didn't know about it anyway. Too the same thing. So I remember in Winnipeg getting smacked in the head really bad, and then get off the ice, stitch me up, go back, finish the game. And the next morning, I'm at breakfast with the boys and said, "Did we win last night?" They say, "Yeah." And you, when you came back, you were unbelievable. You were the first star. Didn't remember a thing.
Oh my
And
God.
so I go on the ice an hour later, 2 hours later on practice.
Yeah.
And Harry Neal comes on the ice for practice, "How you feel?" I say, "Well, I'm about 60-40 right now. Had the shiner swell, yeah, and the headache." And I said, "Well, your 60% is better than the other guy 100%. So
We're gonna play.
you're
Yeah.
going to play tomorrow." So that's the way it was. I mean,
Right.
so was it right? Well, we didn't know any better.
Right.
Nowadays, probably the kid would say, "Whoa, I'm not playing,"
Yeah.
or they won't let him play. But in those days, that's the way it was. So, well, a lot of the guys paid for that.
Right.
And we didn't talk about it. We didn't, it was the norm.
It just,
It was not right, but it was the norm.
Yeah.
So,
it was not right, but it was the norm. I love that. I think the generation of men now are really embracing that idea. The fact that it wasn't right. It's just the way it was.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of course correcting.
the thing is, you know what? I was part of a group that we sued the NHL.
Yeah.
And the part was, yeah, okay, you want to be compensated for those years that they didn't care about you, and you live with something now that you have to deal with, as depression and that kind of stuff, mental illness.
Mhm.
And so I was part of the group. We won, not much, but it's funny because when we put the suit in,
Yep.
all of a sudden there's a protocol on the ice for the NHL. So make sure the guys, if you get hit, you go
Yeah.
in the room, quiet room, and all that. Where was that before?
Right.
We had to sue them to make it happen.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Now every junior, minor league, they have stop, and if you get in there, you got to go quiet. If that helps, only that, I'm pretty happy with that.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, where was that before?
Yeah.
No, go through it. It's fine. We get through that.
That's an amazing way to look at it. And in so many ways, like I look at the sport now compared to when you came up and how big it is, how big of a business it is. And you look at things like memorabilia and all of that. In some ways, you're kind of the tip of the spear when it comes to things like this, when it comes to knowledge about concussions, when it comes to the quiet room, the idea that we're going to take care of the player and the player is actually more important than the game. And you saw it before. It's kind of like with me. Half my life I knew without the internet, and half my life I know with it. Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that with you. Half of your life you saw it the way it was, and you were part of that generation that helped to change things. And that's a really cool thing to recognize that.
Thank you, but it's you kind of look at it and say, well, we got to do something about this.
Yeah.
And even then, I mean, I wouldn't talk about it. I mean, it took me about 5 years ago or a few years ago. CTV and Global were doing something about mental illness and all that, but they came to interview me about my art.
Yeah.
But Jason Pierce is very smart. He opened the door, and when I was talking about when I got, my feeling when I got hurt playing hockey and all that, the concussion, then I start talking about it.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing because I saw the doctor 2 days before. He said, Richard, you got to start talking about it. You got to start talking about how you feel and who you are and what happened to you. And I guess destiny. 2 days later, it happens, and start talking about it. And you have to surround yourself with good people.
Right.
But if they don't know anything about what you have and what you do, they cannot help.
Right.
If you don't want any of their help, well, you'll be by yourself, and you'll have to go through the pain.
Yeah.
So you have to get a balance of what you can do and talk to people. And for me, that was my family, my friends, the real one.
Yeah.
Not the ones who all get over it.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand.
Right. The ones who are willing to go in there with you and deal with it with you. They're going to go in the muck that you're feeling.
In fact, they will come to you and say, okay, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
These are the one that feels you.
Yeah.
And they know about you. And they're not that many. I know a lot of people. But when you got the real one, though, it's damn good. So you can't count on people. Yeah. And I'm a one too. So now, so someone needs help or whatever. Hey, we can't talk about this.
That's amazing. I want to get to this, and I want to talk about your art. But at first, we're going to go back and kind of set the table for this. Shorthand of your career, drafted by the New York Islanders. So you were a hockey player, obviously growing up in Quebec. Drafted by the New York.
4 years old, I started.
4 years old, you started.
That backyard rink my dad used to do. So
there it is.
There you go.
There it is. In Quebec.
Yeah.
Where hockey is a religion.
It is.
It is just, you think about it in the rest of Canada, but in Quebec, like deep Quebec, it is, boy, oh boy. Get drafted by the New York Islanders. At that point, and we're talking the early 70s, there was an organization that showed up called the World Hockey Association. They basically was another professional league that had hopes of rivaling the NHL, had different ideas about the game, about the business of the game, things like that. And you elected to go and play for the WHA instead of the New York Islanders, which was a new team.
Yeah.
You went and you got to stay in Quebec and play.
Yeah, it was an expansion team for the NHL.
Right.
But when I look at their roster, I was drafted by them 96, something like that in the draft.
Okay.
And I was the sixth goalie to come out. I just won the Memorial Cup. I was the MVP of Canada.
Memorial Cup, still huge to this day. Yeah, absolutely.
5 other guys came in front of me to get out as a goalie. So
okay,
well, I'll go to New York and I look at it. They have 5 goalies already.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Desjardins, they had Lowe, they had Denis Desjardins. They had guys that they had experience. They were good. I mean, so what do you fit in there, right? So
Right.
then they offered me a contract. It was financial, $12,000 one year.
Yeah.
We had to fight to get $1,000 to play in the minor.
Yep.
As a bonus to play in the minor in Fort Wayne in the International League.
Right.
But the other league coming in,
Yep.
the Quebec Nordiques draft me on the first round.
Yep.
Signing bonus at $28,000
Oh, geez.
and 20 to first year and 30 to second year. I say, well, you know what? If I'm going to play down the minor, I think I'm going to take that money.
Absolutely.
And so I did. And I had an offer to go to university, in McGill and Michigan and all that. But I said, well, grab the money.
Stay home and play pro.
And then 16 years later, I was still playing.
Oh, man.
So,
So you're a Quebec Nordique all the way until the WHA gets, folds part of it, and then some of the teams actually move up into the NHL, and there's a merger. At that point, you're still the property of the New York Islanders.
Yep.
So they play a couple games. In a cup-winning year, by the way. You play a couple games for the Islanders. They win the Stanley Cup that year.
Yep. They're first.
Their first
and
one.
I was there,
and
that was the safety valve for them.
Yeah.
Because they had Billy Smith and Chico Resch. If something happened, well, we got Richard that, can do the job. And I went to the Central Hockey League with the Indianapolis Checkers.
Right.
And we won everything that year. I won everything that year as a goalie again.
Yeah.
MVP, the best goalie, whatever. So they called me back for the playoff when we were done. And I was there right in the corner with Mr. Torrey when they scored a winning goal against, Philadelphia. At the end, it was like jumping on the ice, going crazy. It was quite, interesting. But you kind of don't have the same feeling as you're part of a guy plays and you're in there and do things. So
yeah.
But it was a good awareness for what was to come a couple of years later. So.
Well, and I love that you say that. I asked you if you got a Stanley Cup ring, and you said no. You were number 20, and you were number 21.
Yeah,
and they only made 20 rings back then.
Yeah,
but you said that was okay, and I love one thing that I think that we have lost out on as our culture has kind of shifted to where it is this idea of participation awards.
Yeah,
and it's funny even talking to you. Yeah, you were there. Yeah, you were the third guy, but you're like, I don't, I wasn't there, but I wasn't there.
Yeah, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, but kids, you got to learn to lose. You got to learn the pain. And you got to learn the joy of winning. Knowing how to lose and knowing how to win. What do you do in life? You win all the time or you lose all the time?
No.
Well, you're going to go through both.
Absolutely.
But if you're not ready for that participation, okay, well, go participate. But damn, every time I went on the ice, I wanted to win.
Yeah.
When I was, okay, well, we lost. Man, I was mad for, 2 days. But then I couldn't wait to get ready for the next game, try to win.
Right. Try to get it back, right?
Well, so if you don't get that drive, where are you going to get it
in
life? It's not only in hockey, it's everywhere.
Absolutely. And I think that's a lesson that we need to learn. That's one of those things where losing is learning.
Well, what do you think? I gave 100 goals a year.
Yeah.
I learned by them.
Yeah.
You can't stop everyone.
Right.
And sometimes you give a bad one and say, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No. We're men. We talk as men on this podcast.
Okay. Well, then I said, the next time you practice, nothing's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Like you lose a big game. Well, disappointed. Well, what can you learn from that?
Yeah.
And that's what life is. You learn about your experience. You don't buy experience. You live it.
Yes.
And sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not good.
You don't buy experience. You live it. That's exactly right. So you guys win the Stanley Cup. That's all great. But at the end of the day, you only played 2 games in the NHL, and you wanted to play more than that. So you're like, I want to go to a team where I can play.
Yeah, they had Chico Resch that they didn't know what they would do with them because Billy Smith.
Because Billy was the guy back then.
And I got along really well with Billy. Billy wanted me in.
Oh, did he?
And but Chico Resch had one more year in his contract. They said, well, we're going to finish the contract and see what happened after. And they said, Richard, you're going to go down the minor and help the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I said, no. I'm good enough for that league. And so if that's the way, I'm going to retire. I'm going to stop playing. And then they traded me to Vancouver. It took an hour and a half. The organization, the Islanders those days were just awesome. I mean, they were recognizant of what you did for them, and they help you out, and they did.
And
Not a bad word against them. Not a bad word.
Well, that's fantastic, and that's what I love about you. You don't have really a bad word for anybody that I've heard, and you recognize when somebody does you well. And they traded you to Vancouver again. You were the third guy.
Yep.
But opportunity comes up sometimes, and sometimes you only get one.
Yeah.
How did your opportunity came up because of an injury?
I got to Vancouver, and the first day I'm there, Gary Bromley was the goalie, and Glenn Hanlon was the number one, the franchise coming in.
Yep.
And he was a good kid and a great player and a great goalie. And Gary Bromley got hurt, pulled his groin. He's out for at least 6 weeks.
Okay, so now you're the backup on the bench. Yep.
Yeah. So we go to play and lose the first game on the road in Detroit. And so this next game is against the Philly, the Flyers. And the Canucks never won in Philly. So they said, we're going to put Brodeur in and see what happened. Then we won 2-1, and they had 46 shots on goal. Wow. So I guess the guy can play. So we go to against the Rangers on the road, and Glenn plays well, but we lose. Now we're going against the Islanders, just won, the champion Stanley Cup, and put Brodeur in, beat them 3-2. So I guess the guy can play, so it's good. Then we go to Montreal, and then I see my family, my friends. I'm waving at people.
Because you're back home, yeah.
My pads are loose. I'm not playing. I mean, it's like, then 5 minutes into the game, Lafleur goes around. He got hooked, got right in Glenn Hanlon, bust his knees, out for 3 months.
Minimum. And that was like that back then. The goalies got a lot of cheap shots back then.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he was
not saying that.
He was hooked.
Not saying Lafleur's a cheap shot.
I would say it was an accident.
But yeah.
but it was, so for me, it was like, I'm strapping my pads and to finish the game. and then I never let it go after that.
Oh.
So during the year, at the end of the year, they traded Gary Bromley.
Yeah.
And they kept me with Glenn Hanlon. And the next year, we had the best tandem in the league.
Yep.
The 1-2 punch was the best one in the league. I think, kid, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
I'll help you out, and we're going to have the best, team here. And someone up there decided that we got to trade one of the goal to get more better players. And they decided, well, he was younger than me, so they traded Glenn Hanlon. So for me, it was my career. And that year, we went to the finals. So.
Okay, so I want to stop there for a second because this is where King Richard shows up and all that stuff.
Yeah, well.
Now, let's look behind us here, and this is a small smattering.
Yeah.
You're an amazing artist. You're an amazing artist, and
I think I can put some stuff on the canvas.
And a modest artist as well.
Yeah, well,
like most are. Were you painting back then?
Yeah.
So your teammates all knew. Okay,
no,
Richard's the painter.
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew because it's not something. There was. Don't forget the macho years, the crap that was going on.
Yeah.
You're a goalie. You're crazy already for them, right? I mean, he's a goof. I mean, he's a goalie.
Goalies have been known to be a little bit off center.
A little strange.
A little askew. Yeah.
A little bizarre. So you're going to tell them you're an artist on top of that?
Yeah.
I said, well, shit. They'll probably say, no offense to anybody, but is he gay? Because, in those days,
back then, if you're an artist, there you go.
That would have been up. Yep. That would have been out there.
Yep.
So, no, you don't say a word. I just kept painting at home, and I do sketches on the road and doodle and stuff like that. Guys would look at just spending time because we spend a lot of times on the road, in the airport and airplanes.
Absolutely.
Got to find things to do, right? So, but still up to probably 5-6 years ago, some of the guys didn't even know. But I've been doing it for 30 years.
So you're sketching on the road and you're using your art, like maybe you go on a 4 a.m. road trip, then you're back home for a homestand and you're doing some painting at home. Nobody knows about it. Yeah. Was that an outlet for you, for a healthy outlet for some of the things that the pressure of being an athlete at the highest level, the practices, the schedule, all the shit that comes with that, the appearances? Was art something that helped kept you grounded?
It kept me focused in the sense that, especially at home, I would paint till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning after a game. Because you can't go to bed anyway. You're so, the adrenaline's got to come down. You go for a bite to eat, but you just can't feel like going to bed. And then I would paint. So I send my wife to bed. There you go, take care of the kids, whatever. But I would. That was an outlet for me. It was something that and when you feel down and you're not feeling good, that's something you focus on, and then you don't see the black clouds everywhere. You see what you're doing, and the ideas that comes in by doing a painting.
Yeah.
It takes you to another place, which was a good place.
Right. Were you a Bob Ross fan back then?
I watched him, in fact, a couple of times. I said, "Come on now, that's not painting."
I don't know, man. I see some happy little trees there.
Yeah, happy little trees. Yeah, happy. Yeah. But I was fascinated by it. I said, "Wow, that was pretty cool." But it is not what I was. I was lucky enough in the summer when I went back east to work with Claude Pichet. He's from a little town where my first wife came from.
Yeah.
And I painted with him. He was international known and all that. And then at one point, he said, "Good French, stop asking questions."
Sure.
Because I said, "You know everything you have to know. Just find yourself and find your colors."
So you basically,
So
you came up through hockey. You have coaches and whatnot. So this is kind of your coach saying, "You're ready, go for it."
Yeah, stop asking questions.
You are an artist.
Tabernacle.
Tabernacle.
All right. That was fun, but it's okay. I got it. But then you got to find yourself and find your emotion, find what pulls you, and there was an outlet for me when I got into dark times that I'm not afraid of saying. It probably saved my life. A few times I was really, if it wasn't for my art, for my kids, I wouldn't be here today. So that's I'm not afraid of saying it, but it is. That's why when it takes me to a place like these kids back here,
Yeah.
it's a happy days,
Yeah.
happy time. It's called a childhood hockey memories, and we played hockey everywhere. We played on the street. We played on the backyard rink. We played on my uncle's farm. He had a creek going through. We played everywhere. I played on the St. Lawrence River. I mean, those days it would freeze. You'd play right there. My dad would go with a pick and check out the ice. Okay, you can go over here. Don't go there. Or over here. See, that's what we were. So that's why when I started doing those, 12 years ago now, because the gallery in Fort Langley, the ladies say we're going to do something on ice and snow.
Uh-huh.
I said, "What are you talking about, Brenda? I mean, ice and snow." I said, "Well, I played hockey on ice." And so I did 4 paintings for her show, and then she sold it in an hour and a half. She said, "You're going to keep doing that." So 12
that's where
years
the
later,
landscapes
I'm
came
still
from.
doing. Well, the landscape. This is my emotion. This is my happiness. But this when I paint a landscape, it's a different frame of mind completely. It's when you get ready to do a painting like this, it's all about emotion, about the lights you're going to bring in, about what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
And this, I know by heart. I mean, it's all from my head,
Sure.
but they're fun to do. I put the restaurant Ricardo's there.
Yeah.
So,
love
I mean,
that.
these are little things that just, when people look at them now, they smile. They make them happy. Little happy things with Ross. But this was a little happy thing for
happy
people.
happy little hockey players.
Yeah, there you go. So, but these are what makes me really happy and gets me going. Because when you have people looking at it and I see their smile coming out and tell me like, "Richard, they make me so happy." Done my job.
Well put. In 1982, things went up to another level. Like, I mean, you knew what it was like to be a winning goalie, an award-winning goalie at that point. But you kind of became, like, I think about guys like Eddie Shack, and I think about guys like maybe like Tiger Williams, and I put King Richard kind of in that category for me. I mean, I was a fan of the hockey in the 80s. You know, I'm in my 40s now at current time. So I think about the cult hockey players from my youth, and King Richard's right up there. You kind of became this phenomenon of the year of the white towel, the year that you guys went, the Vancouver Canucks, sort of a Cinderella story, to go and play the New York Islanders in the Stanley Cup Finals. How was life before that year versus after that year? Did it change a lot for you?
It does, no matter what it does. But you know what? That team was like, when you do something like that, it's like your first girlfriend. You don't forget it.
Okay.
I mean, that's our first boyfriend. Whatever.
And you had played
But
15 years by that point, though, still.
I mean, and I had I had a good years and all that. I
Yeah.
won the Avco Cup with Quebec, the Nordiques.
Yep.
And I had the Memorial Cup, but that was way different. I mean, we weren't supposed to be there. And then we got hot at the end of the year. We weren't losing. We were beating everybody. And then
Yeah.
we didn't care. We know we could do it.
Right.
And so the frame, our mind frame, it was just, let's go out. We have nothing to lose here.
Yeah.
We're going to kick their butt, and then Richard's going to stop the puck. We'll be fine.
Mhm.
So that's the way it was. Leave it to Richard. Give him the shot. Roger Nilsson will always say, give it the puck 30 feet out. Richard will stop it.
Mhm.
Make sure that they don't go in. And that was, we were a tough bunch of son of a gun that we didn't care about anywhere. We were in their bench in Philly, start a brawl in their bench. We went in the stands in Quebec.
Yep.
We didn't care about, we just, you want it? Yeah, we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
So people didn't want to play us.
That's awesome.
Chicago tried it in the conference final, but we eradicated them.
Yeah.
You had Kurt Fraser, we had Ron DeLorme, we had, Errol Schnaps and Stan Schmiel. We took care of everybody on the ice, and you could see their benches and whoa, that was it. After that, we won the game. I mean, the game was over.
People talk about being in a state of flow where you kind of go to this different place. I'm sure that you feel it in your art sometimes where you just go in. That must have been what it was like.
It was like, the thing is, like there's always a say, when it's going well, the puck is as big as a beach ball. And when it's not going well, it's like a damn pea, right? So, but that was like a beach ball in those days.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hot, you're confident, and you trust your players.
Yeah.
You're at a point that, he's going to do this. I remember Errol Schnepp said, Richard, I can't turn left tonight. It's okay, but just lead them on the right side. So lead them there, and I'll take care of it. So, but you would trust, your teammate and what they do.
Yeah.
And we work as a unit, no matter what. And yes, I did my share. I played good, and I didn't get fazed by anything. So you can only do your best. If it's not good enough, what are you going to do?
Well, and
that's what my frame of mind before going on the ice. That's what it is. Go on the ice, do your best, and don't cheat.
Yes.
Don't cheat your fan. Don't cheat your teammates.
Yep.
You put out and you work. You do your best, and then something's good's going to come out of it. So that was the frame of mind. I was not. It's all about preparation.
Yeah.
If you're prepared, you're not afraid of anything.
And a big part of that preparation is
it's all mental.
Is this? Yeah.
We're talking about guys like they came. They had all the talent in the world, but they were there for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly it. Because, I mean, everybody that comes in's got the talent.
Yep.
I mean,
they wouldn't be there if they didn't have something.
They didn't have something, they wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But if they don't have that up here, that's where the difference makes. The superstar like Gretzky and these guys, what do you think makes them so good?
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart. They could adapt to anything.
So, and I do want to come back to your playing career in a second here, but after you retired, and you went into kind of the corporate sector and worked for Labatt for a long time, which is very very cool. Makes sense for a hockey player, Labatt. You talk about this mental preparation, but that's all you had kind of known your whole life, and the mental preparation that you talked about, the transition into something different must have been really difficult for you.
No players come out in the NHL then, I guess, but now I don't know. Nobody was ready for the real life.
Hockey's all they knew, right?
I called it the real life.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody to tell you that, okay, the bus is at 7 tomorrow, you go on the ice at 10, lunch is at 1, the airplane is at, it's right there for you, right?
Yeah.
Now you're on your own. You got to do your own thing. And then you're not ready for that. To feel the pressure that nobody gives a damn what you were.
Right.
It's just when you got to produce like everybody. If you don't, you're out.
Right.
I mean, and that's the pedestal that you have is not there anymore.
Yes.
Well, I didn't like that anyway. I was really a private guy, and I didn't give a damn about all the hoopla and all that stuff.
Well, that's why I want to go back to that. So after that year, You guys make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. You know, you win the Campbell Conference, but you come up short in the finals. Don't win the Stanley Cup. What did you learn from losing at that stage, being right at the top of the mountain, but not quite putting the flag in?
Well, I kind of figured that we did something pretty cool because it was the spring, right? We stopped playing in May, and then I have to clean up the bushes and all that in front of the house. I'm doing that, my T-shirt, shorts, and sweating. I'm all dirty, and there's the Cadillac that stopped in front of the house. Lady comes out, all dressed up. Wow. Said, "Yes, ma'am. Can I help you?" Said, "You're Richard Brodeur." I said, "Yeah, I am." Said, "My son would like to see you." I said, "Well, can he come out of the car? I mean, I'm here."
Sure.
No, you can't. So I go to the car. The kid is in full goalie gear. It's about 25, 26 degrees out there.
Summertime.
I mean, I said, "Get him out of there. I mean, he's gonna die." But that's what it was. So out there that I said, "You know what? This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is what we had to live up to after that."
Yes.
And I think the management too, what they had to live up to that after. I think it played against our team because they made the very next year when we got in the room.
Yep.
They had 8 new players. What was so wrong with our team?
Yeah.
But that's the the overmanaged or whatever you call it.
Yep.
You kind of look around the room, the guy that helped you to get there, winning and then protecting you, like I said, the chemistry and supporting. I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy. You can look around. More, almost half the team is different.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa, then the team just went like this.
But the expectation of the fan looking in is like, oh, we made the finals last year. This year we're gonna and you're like, it's a whole new game. It's like all new pieces.
I had a better year that year.
Yeah,
stat wise and all that
during the regular season.
And we didn't. I don't think we made the playoff. We didn't, or we just barely made the playoff.
Right.
Because I mean, our team was not the same. We were the tough son of a gun going in there. Didn't care about anything.
Mm-hmm.
We became very soft. So if I go behind the net, stop a puck, guy came after me. He had a pack of wolves going after him, and I'd take them down.
Yeah.
Now I was going behind the net. The guy would run me, and nobody would move. Because so then all of a sudden, whoa, it's not the same game anymore.
Right.
And everybody, all the other teams are looking at it. It's okay, let's go. So that's over managing, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to say now because I'm sitting here and, it's been so long.
Hindsight's 2020, and we can use that for our advantage, and we can use that for perspective. But I look at you at that point, and this big thing happened, and then for the next 5 years, like, okay, you're kind of overshadowed a little bit because you're in the same division as Gretzky and the Oilers, the Destiny team that shows up.
They were so good,
and you were there for when the NHL really was pond hockey in a lot of ways.
Oh, I mean, it's bad, So, okay, Richard, try your best, and we're going to go.
Yeah, all the defensemen are just gone. There are no.
That's what the run and gun. That's what it was.
Yeah,
and that's what it was. I mean, if you had a 3.5 average, then you were a great goalie.
Right.
Now, if you got a 2.5, you're an average.
Yeah, it's such a different game now.
So I mean, it's so different. Giving 4 or 5 goals a game was normal.
One of my favorite goaltenders for the team that I'm a fan of, he doesn't like low shots. He loves high shots. He loves always being busy and things like that. Safe to say, like, I mean, you were in those years, you were the team MVP, I think 3 or 4 years.
Times, yeah.
3 times. Yeah. You really finished your career in a blaze of glory in that respect.
Yeah.
But were you that goalie that loved to get lots of shots on you? You enjoyed that?
Well, not a lot of shots I kind of hate. I mean, that's why, I started going in the corner and back. I always did that. And people ask me why. I say, when it's slow, I go there and rev it up. Come on, Richard. Come on now. Come on, let's go. Let's get going.
Yep.
Keep focused. And when it's really too hot, I mean, you're just going there. It's okay. Calm down, Richard. Calm down. Relax.
Really?
So that was my way of dealing with what's going on. A lot of shots, if it's going well, you don't mind.
Yeah.
But it's all a different game, different time, different. You react to what's happening. I mean, no matter what, it's still a reaction game.
Yes.
and you you have to react to a situation, what's happening,
Yeah.
and who you're playing against, and that's what it is. I remember asking Tony Esposito, I was a young
Hmm.
goalie, and I said, Tony, what do you have something? Like, we just played an exhibition game. I played great. He played great. We're fine. We're having
Yeah.
a beer together after the game.
He's a Blackhawk at that point, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I so Tony, I said, oh, Richard played great tonight. I said, yeah, Tony. I said, you have something for a young goalie like me? Richard, it's not that complicated. So you're a goalie. You got to stay between the net and the puck. I said, that's it. That's what you have to do. So you make it simple. People try to make it complicated all the time.
We do that sometimes. We overcomplicate things when things are just at the end of the day simple.
Yeah, well, it's not that simple to just stay between the puck and the net.
No.
But that's a one way of saying it. You got your style, you got your way of play, and just do it. I mean, you're not going to stop everyone.
I'm fascinated by the mentality of goaltenders, and hearing things like this is a real treat. So as I alluded to earlier, you finished your career as a Vancouver Canuck, an immortalized Vancouver Canuck.
Yeah.
I mean, even to this day. And then you move into to the private sector, into business. You're in Quebec. You move back to Vancouver again, which must be very interesting. It must be interesting when you must get recognized all the time when you're on the West Coast here. It must happen.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Not all the time, because it's been a long time. Like the young generation don't have a clue. Like, we're going through that step now. Like, I remember a kid coming last year to the game. He said, can I have your autograph, Mr. Brodeur? I said, look at him, a young kid. I said, you don't even know who I am. I said, no, but my dad told me you're a legend. See, that's my bracket is there, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So, but it's nice to be, still recognized. And like I say, Kirk McLean, we were looking. He said, well, Richard, I think I'm getting there too now. Because he was a long goal, right?
So you still talk to Kirk?
Oh, yeah. We have functions with the Canucks alumni. We do a lot of things for raising money for charities. But this year, it's like,
yeah, well, it's different. Have you done that with your art? Have you?
Yeah, I've been doing it. I just helped the Chemainus Theater. They did an auction, just sent a painting there. They got $5,000 for it, so which is nice. But I like to help out. But I can do 200 times a year, because I still try to make a living at this.
Absolutely.
So, but this is I try to do a lot. We have function with the Canucks that I'm part of, probably usually about 10 times a year.
Yep.
And some other guys call me, whatever. I say, yeah, I'm here. I'm there. So now,
that's
even
awesome.
in Kelowna, I said, hey, I'm still.
Yeah, you're three and a half hours away.
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I got a lot of friends over there, and I have 2 art shows coming up over there. So in the spring.
Yep.
So if it's going to happen, so I have my connection, my galleries, and so when I go there, meet with the boys, and we have fun.
So do a lot of fans, former fans my age, do they get a kick out of having a Richard Brodeur original sitting on their wall?
They love that? It does help. I think they're happy with it. And I just got a commission yesterday. It was a guy who said, I love your stuff, Richard, but my wife, she's crazy about it. She wants it. Okay, well, the one you want is sold. So say, I'll make you one. So that's what I'm doing. I was doing today. But it's nice because it's diverse now, and I have people. I would say 70% is my hockey painting.
Yeah.
I mean, King Richard painting hockey paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does help.
Absolutely.
But if you weren't, it was the shit, they wouldn't buy it, right? So
that's just like anything. And if you were the shits, you wouldn't have been in net.
Yeah,
but you weren't the
exactly.
shits.
So,
you're not. And this is exactly.
If you were that bad, you wouldn't be here.
100%. 100%. So right now in Kelowna, so this podcast is going to go up before this is done, right? So so for anyone who's local, who's wanting to know about this, the Rotary Center for the Arts in Kelowna has an exhibition of how many of your paintings are down here?
About 20 paintings.
20 paintings down here, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
They got both landscape and hockey paintings. So.
And that's mainly what you do. You either do one or the other, or is there?
When I get tired of doing one, I do the other. And when I get the other, then I come back. But mostly, I've been doing a lot of commission paintings. People contacting me through my website, and they say, "Well, I would like that. Well, it's sold, but I can make you one." So it's. I've been doing a lot of that. I would say the social media with nowadays with what's going on with the COVID, is what saved my business this year.
Yeah.
And the galleries had a tough time, and now it's doing good,
Yep.
but it's still not what it was. So, but for me, the social media, the Instagram, Facebook, and all that.
So let's plug that right now. I still want to talk to you a little bit about mood and your art. I'm fascinated about this. Like we've just kind of set the table for this. So I want to finish off with that. But what is your social media? If somebody wants to reach out and see your stuff, if they're not local, they can't come down to the Rotary Center for the Arts here in Kelowna before March 26th. What's the best way to look to see what you're doing?
On my website, brodeurartist.com.
Brodeurartist.com.
Yeah,
That's a UR at
then
the
they
end.
get my website. They can see what I do.
Yep.
A lot of them are sold, but you can see what I do, and
Yep.
then you can contact me through that website.
Very cool.
And you can contact the Rotary Center,
Yeah, for the arts in
They have
Kelowna.
my info.
Yep.
I'm open to people.
Are you on Instagram and Twitter? You do any of that stuff?
Yeah. Richard Brodeur.
Richard Brodeur. Easy.
What I'm going to try to hide or what? It's just like, it's my name. So
let's talk about your art and mood. You've, it's not like you haven't been through, everyone thinks, oh, elite athlete. Well, no, elite athletes go through shit too.
Oh,
we all do. And in fact, maybe even more so sometimes because the magnifying glass is on you that much more pressure. And yeah, you're built for it as a kid, but you're kind of like you said, I was fascinated when you said you went into the real world, like you were in that hockey bubble and you had great mental preparation for hockey, but then suddenly you're in the real world and there's real world shit that happens and family dynamics and all this stuff. Does your art change when your mindset isn't in when you're dealing with some of this depression stuff you've dealt with? Does your art change?
The thing is, I've seen things like, well, don't forget, when I had depression when I played.
Yes.
But you don't really know it because you're such involved in your game, in your business, in your bubble, that, you had a bad time. I had a bad game. I had this. Like you
just steamroll forward.
So you move forward. But when you're done with that, you go in the corporate world. There's nobody that's the job that you don't have a clue about it. And you have to adjust to it and you have to learn on top of that.
Right.
That's when the pressure builds. And that's when the emotion, that depression really go deep. Because what am I going to do? I have a family, like a wife, 2 kids, and we didn't make $1 million in my days. And then you still have to work and find a good job and do, something.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? And a lot of guys, you're not ready when you come out of the NHL or professional hockey, whatever. You play in Europe, whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same. You're not ready for the real world, I call it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when I painted in bad days, the colors are not there. I mean, you can see the big difference in the way I paint when I have a good day. And
really? So you could look at your paintings and you could say, there's one I wasn't feeling very good that day. Or,
I have one I call it was a good day.
Really?
Yeah, I called it was a good day. It was very colorful. It was so nice. It was a good day. So that one is still at home. That's not going anywhere.
Oh, but I love hearing that. You've got ones that they're so you that you're not willing to part with them.
Yeah. It's not about a hockey. It's not about landscape. It's something contemporary I did. I do that too, but it's mostly for myself. But but that one was like I say, it was a good day. But when you have bad days, it does show in you. So I walk away. And then I come back later and refresh.
It must feel good being at this stage of your life, to know yourself so well that saying it's a good day and seeing that painting and seeing what you did to make it that way and it being so personal to you, it must feel good to be so aware of that now.
It is. The good thing is you can't control it when you are aware of what's going on.
You can control it?
Oh, yeah, you can now. I can control it. And days that I would feel like you don't know why, right? It just comes out. And you're not feeling good, I would say to my wife that she knows what it means. Let me handle it myself. I know how to do it now.
Right.
And I would focus on my art. If I don't paint on the business side or whatever, stay busy. Okay. I would go with my dog for an hour and a half. I would, do my thing. I just stay busy. Yeah. And your mind just keeps going. The worst thing is to stay home and do nothing.
Right.
I mean, what are you going to think about now? all the bad stuff.
Right.
When you stay positive and, okay, let's do something. Well, the good thing about my job, I can work when I want, and nobody's going to tell me you better work today. No, I'm choosing to work today, or
Yeah.
I'm walking away and I'm going to go play golf, or I'm going to walk my dog. I'm going to go explore the landscape or whatever,
Yeah.
but go to the beach, whatever, but do something. And that then usually feel better. Then you come back home and I'm refreshed. Then I can start painting again.
So the idea of because there's guys who are listening to this
Yeah.
podcast who are still kind of like you in the locker room
Yeah.
because we're not there yet. We're not where I mean we're talking about
It's
it a lot
better.
more and it's better, but we're not there. And so to hear you say that you can control it now,
Yeah.
it's like a skill that you've learned that yes, this shit comes up.
Well, you have
but-
to learn yourself
Yes,
how you feel.
yes,
You have to learn that this is not right.
right.
If you see someone, you don't like his face, you don't like his attitude and all that, get him out of your life.
Yeah.
You don't need him.
Yeah.
All the negative and all that crap, get it out of your life.
Yeah.
Don't need that. You need positive people. You need people that are good people.
Yes.
And if you want to let them in your world, well, your problem.
Right.
So if your family's create problem that way, out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You've got to create boundaries.
That's it.
There's two themes as we kind of roll towards the finish line here. In many, if not most, of the podcasts that we've done, I don't know, we've done a few dozen of them now. And I've talked to everybody from men's coaches to athletes to all sorts of different people. Two themes, and there's a third one that's starting to emerge now, have come up. Again, success leaves clues. Vulnerability, and I mean that's what we're talking about. We're able to talk about this shit, right? Awareness, and that's a big one. And I think you did a really good job articulating that, how it became aware for you, so to the point where you can control it. And the third thing, which is how you control it, is gratitude. I mean, you talked a lot about the things that you love, going for a walk with your dog, or doing this, or doing things, focusing on instead of the shit, instead of just sitting there alone, focusing on the shit.
Yeah.
You focus on things you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And that's a little hack that can get you out of that.
Friend of mine has a
state.
problem. He helps people that street people.
Yeah.
He goes to a mission and a gospel mission, and he works there, and he feels so good.
Right.
And he looks at that, look at himself after that. It's not so bad.
It's pretty easy to be grateful if you have a little context
Being
like
grateful
that.
is one of the best things you can do, and that to me is, I am grateful. I have a good kids, good family. Grandkids are great. My wife is great. I mean, I don't live in a shack in the mountains. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm doing good. I have this
Yeah.
in my life that I can paint and enjoy. And I have, live in a great place. I mean, so we get to meet great people.
Yeah.
And think about that, and I have a good of my ex-teammates. So much fun when we meet. We say the same jokes, but we laugh at them every time. But because it is positive, because we came from the same cloth. We came from the same place.
I can tell you like telling the stories. One day, I hope that we can get together again and talk about. I've got a million questions, and I've restrained myself a lot. My wife, who's the CEO of He Changed It, wanted to be King Richard when she was growing up, so she's off camera here, and
She's in the union.
She's in the union.
There you go.
She's enjoying herself very, very much, and I can't. Speaking of gratitude, I can't tell you how grateful I am that you do this first and foremost, and I want to help promote this as much as possible. So every enthusiast of you knows about this, but I can't tell you how grateful I am that you have been willing to sit down here and really be yourself and really talk about this stuff and be so vulnerable and it's going to help people and the perspective. And I just want to say thank you for the memories and thank you so much for being who you were and being a part of my childhood. I really appreciate it. And they say don't
Even if you're a Kings fan.
Even
it's
if I'm
okay.
a Kings fan. That's right.
It's all right.
God damn, I heard that a lot when I was growing up.
You got the T-shirt right there.
I know.
So
Well, I
come
had
on
to.
now.
I had to. I just, it's so often that people say don't ever meet your heroes, and my experience is not so much that. My experience is that I want to talk to the people that I grew up admiring and learn some lessons from them. And goddamn, Richard, you